Welcome to The Younger You, everyone. Today on the show, we're talking about one of my favourite procedures. It's an organic approach to looking more youthful and rested. It's called a fat transfer. Our patient, Carrie, she's getting some fat removed from her stomach area and putting it back into her face. Let me start off by introducing our board-certified plastic surgeon, Dr. Nims. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start off with giving everyone at home the medical terminology of what you're going to be doing today.
The first part is a liposuction procedure, and we do that usually on somebody's abdomen or somebody's flanks, and then we take and process that fat, and then the correct term is either fat transfer or fat grafting into whichever area the patient chooses.
Why has it become such a popular process nowadays?
Because the fat that we put in is actually maintained for the long term versus some of the dermal fillers that people have used in the past. And those dermal fillers only last for 9 months, maybe at most 2 years.
Okay, so let's break this down. We do liposuction to begin with. Correct. Then you do the grafting, is that what you call?
Correct.
Or that's the process part. And how do you do that? How do you separate that?
Yeah, so while the patient is in an operating room or in a procedure room, the fat is harvested through the process of liposuction. That fat is then processed by removing the oil component and the water component, and then taking actually the fat cells, and then those fat cells are then placed with a syringe into whichever place is desired. Okay,
so what is the most common area that people are doing fat transfer nowadays?
It depends on who you ask that question to. If you go down to, say, Miami, you're going to have the answer of the buttocks.
Okay.
If you go somewhere maybe north, you may see the face or the breasts.
Okay, there's a lot of conversation now as well that doing liposuction around the knee area, on the thigh, so not only are you eliminating one area that you're unhappy with, you're using your own body source and product for back into your face as well.
It's a 2-for-1 procedure, basically, right? You eliminate out of one area, you add to another area. So in many things in plastic surgery, it's all about ratios, it's about proportions. So you're eliminating one area that has a disproportionate amount of fat, and you're adding to another area where you choose to have that fat.
Okay, one of the important things that I think everyone would want to know at home, is there an age bracket that you would recommend this type of procedure?
It depends on what the procedure is. If that procedure is facial fat grafting, say, that's usually going to tend towards an adult population. That's not going to be done in, say, an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
However, if you have someone who is born with asymmetric breasts, they may choose to have fat grafting to the smaller breast to give them more proportion.
Actually, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Another thing, people, you just said about injectables. Injectables can last anything between 9 and 12 months to a year and a half, depending on the product that you're using. Yeah. How much of your own fat cell, when you transfer it, lasts? We say harvest? Is that a better word to use?
So usually if you harvest, say, a liter worth of fat from someone, you're not able to put all of that back into the body because some of that is going to be the liquid and the oil and so forth. So let's say you only use half of that fat, maybe only another half of that, or maybe 60% is going to actually survive for the long term.
Okay, so downtime, this is the important thing. Is this done under local anesthetic? Are you asleep? Just talk me through that process.
Again, it depends on what we're doing and how much the patient wants. If the major procedure is liposuction, then that's going to be done in an operating room setting. If they just want a little bit of fat grafting to their face, that's commonly done in our office, just under local.
So let's just say if we are looking at maybe having our chin done, just so people can get an idea, that's sort of an in-office procedure.
Usually. Yep.
And are you doing the grafting on the same day? So you do liposuction here, and then we're putting it in the face. Is it overnight, or it's all done at once?
That's all done at one time.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So the patient comes in, the whole thing may take an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then they go home.
Okay, so this isn't a lunchtime service. This is
a little more than that.
Yeah, so you're thinking maybe have the next day off from work?
Yeah, something like that. You're going to have some swelling. You're going to have maybe a little bruising, but in general, within several days, you're feeling better, looking better, able to get back to regular
I asked you a little question off camera, and I was just wanting to know, what's the FDA rule when it comes to the amount of fat a doctor is legally allowed to remove?
For most hospitals, they use the number of 5 liters at one time of liposuctioning. If you do more than that, then it's wise to have the patient in the hospital, have them stay overnight to watch them.
As always, incredible information. Stick with us, everyone. After the short break, we're going to talk a little bit more about the fat transfer procedure. You're watching The Younger You, everyone. Back in a moment. For more information on The Younger You, or to rewatch this episode and others, head over to theyoungeryou.tv. Welcome back to The Younger You, everyone. I've got a few more questions for board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Jared Nims, and then we're going to meet Carrie, our patient, and see why she's having the fat transfer procedure done. My friend, let's get back into it and discuss, how long do the results last for?
That's a difficult question because it depends on the area. Usually when you're doing the face, it may last somewhere in the realm of 5 years. However, if you're doing it elsewhere on the body, where that fat may maintain for the long term, it may be there for 20 plus years.
Oh wow, because it's your own fat you're using, of course. Yeah. Now, a viewer wrote in and asked us, does a fat transfer eliminate scarring or acne marks?
Eliminate is a strong word, but it definitely improves acne and scarring on the face. And so we commonly see that after having done a facelift with facial fat grafting, where the patient's face will look better, youthful, clearer.
Okay, so explain to everyone at home the difference between the result-wise dermal fillers and doing a fat transfer.
It depends on how much product you use. If you use let's say 4 or 5 cc's worth of dermal filler, you can get a similar result. However, that result is only going to last you for 9 months, maybe 2 years. And so if you use the fat instead, those results maintain 5 plus years.
I love that. We all like a little bit of distance with our products, my friend. All right, everyone, now let's find out a little bit about Carrie's story.
I'm Carrie Patterson. I'm 37 and I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. I'm going to have some subliminal liposuction, I believe they call it, around my chin, so it doesn't look like this, even though everyone I know says it only looks like this when you do this. And then they're going to inject a little of the fat from my stomach in my chin to make it have a little bit more definition. I'm going to have my sides of my back, I guess they call them flanks, done, and I'm also going to have some liposuction on my stomach area. I decided to have liposuction now because I just really couldn't think of a better time to have it. I just keep thinking I'll just wait and put it off as I get older and older and older, and I might as well just do it now and enjoy it. I know several people that have had it that I've just heard about through the grapevine. They haven't specifically told me they've had it. I don't know that there's ever a good time to do it, but it just seems like it would be something fun and interesting to try, and I might as well do it when I'm younger so I can enjoy it and look good maybe. It doesn't bother me that everybody's going to see it. I'm a pretty open book. I think I'll be a good testimony to people once I've had it, whether I'll tell people the good, the bad, and the ugly on everything. But I do exercise on a pretty regular basis. I do Cycle U, and I think it really helps. On a weekly basis, it's going to really depend what week it is. I typically will go to Cycle U anywhere between 2 to 4 times a week, sometimes 5, sometimes 1. It just really depends on what my schedule is, how early I want to get up in the morning, or what my plans are after work. Sometimes go outside and take a walk too, depending on the weather. And I love to bicycle outside in the summer. Well, I think the age of having any cosmetic procedures or plastic surgery is going to be really different for anybody. I mean, if someone's had some sort of accident and they need some sort of reconstruction, I don't think, in that case, any time is too young. I think a lot of people get breast augmentation maybe when they're in their 20s and 30s, and I don't know, because I don't judge people too much, so I don't know that it's, I mean, I don't think somebody that's 18 should probably run out and get plastic surgery, but I'm sure that some people will have something to say, but I think a lot of people do this and they don't ever let anybody know that they do it, so. Plus, I'm not really that concerned about what other people think too much. I think it's up to each person. Everybody has to live with themselves inside and be happy with themselves. So if people want to do dramatic cosmetic surgery, it's okay with me. I think Jared Nims has a very good reputation in Lexington. When I went to his office, everybody was very welcoming, from the receptionist to the nurse that took me back and kind of took my health history and talked to me about the procedure, and then he came into the room and he was very welcoming. We sat down and discussed the procedure, and they took before and helped me figure out what the after photos are going to look like. I don't feel like he pushed any additional surgeries on me or any additional procedures. If I asked about something, he would give me some information on what it would make me look like or how it would affect other areas, but no, he did not push any additional procedures on me. My confidence level is 150% success rate. I'm gonna go in there with a really good feeling. Dr. Jared did talk to me about downtime after the surgeries, encouraged me to take a little bit of time off work and try to slow down a little bit. Of course, I'm gonna probably try to be up and running the next day. But I'm going to plan on taking it easy. Dr. Nims said it would probably be about 3 to 4 weeks before I could start exercising after the procedures. Well, I'd like to stay very slim once I've done this. I think, like anybody, if you can get a good jump start, I think it makes you feel a lot better and it encourages you to continue to take care of your body.
Stay tuned, everyone. After the commercial, we get to watch the procedure actually happen. Let's go to talk to our patient Carrie before she has the fat transfer, and then we get to watch the procedure actually happen.
The following footage contains actual surgical procedures. It may be too graphic for some viewers.
Okay, we're here with Carrie this morning and we're getting ready to head into the operating room. Before we go, we need to mark her. So we're going to take a look at a couple things. The first thing is going to be at her face. And so we're going to mark where we're going to move some of that fat so that we can come up here and give her a little more projection to her chin and even out some of her cheeks. People often come to us because they're interested in doing body contouring. That is not weight loss surgery, so body contouring isn't something to make a person lose weight, but it's an effort to restore a proper form or function. So a common thing for us to do would be to do a tummy tuck or liposuction, where we're taking out an excess of fat in one place, and sometimes we're restoring that fat to a different place. So in Carrie's instance, we removed fat by liposuction from several areas, and then we actually took some of that fat and we put that in another place to improve the contour of one. Alright, so we're going to begin with putting in a little numbing solution on both sides. The key portion of the procedure is allowing the tumescent solution to work its way in so that we can have the patient be sufficiently numb and also decrease the amount of bleeding. Yeah, we're gonna all of this, here goes. Now after that fluid sits there for a little while, then we're going to take what's called a cannula, and that cannula is basically a straw with a little hole on the end. It's a blunt tip straw so that it doesn't damage or does minimal damage to anything that we're doing the liposuction on. Over time, what we're going to do is basically suck out some of that fat from those areas wherever we're treating. So it may take us an hour to do that, depending on the area. It may take more or less. Now, look at that. That's already done quite a bit. You know, she doesn't need a ton. Wherever we get to where we want to be, then we're going to compare, and we're going to look at, say, the right abdomen to the left abdomen, or the right flank to the left flank, to give us the most symmetry that we can. This side of her body is wider than this side is.
Yeah.
So some of that is what you're seeing. So that skews us.
Exactly what you're saying. Because this, it is, she's wider. So here she seems to tuck in a little bit.
Yeah. You know, people are not completely symmetric, you know, so. Look at that. What do you think? Look good from up there? Yeah. Now, switched over to the abdomen, and the first thing we're doing is we're collecting a little bit of the fat that we will eventually use in her face for the facial fat grafting. One benefit of using somebody's own fat is that it's their own body. And that fat, whatever fat that we place, that fat is going to stick around with time. Now, that doesn't stop the aging process, and so she may continue to lose fat, or that fat may change position as time goes by, but that at least restarts the clock. And we're going to prep here, make sure you come around the ears, because we're going to come in here and here, okay, down to here, a little bit of the tube. You good? Everybody good? Everybody happy? I'm happy. All right, we're going to get going. We're going to start our fat grafting. We are putting things back into proper proportion or the desired proportion, so that as things proceed with age, it gives her a little bit better form for the long run as compared with other things that could be done, such as dermal fillers. So that was 1 cc left nasolabial fold. She doesn't need much, yeah. Okay, so that was 1 cc to the left cheek and 0.8 to the left submalar. I wonder if she just needs a tad smidge right there. Don't you think?
A little bit, yeah.
Fat grafting on average may last 5 or 7 years or something like that. So you're getting a lot more for the amount of volume that you're putting in. She is a little thicker right here, so we could maybe liposuction a little bit of that. We still got a little bit more. It's definitely better.
Stay tuned, everyone. After the commercial, we get to see Carrie's results and sit down with her and her doctor, Dr. Jared Nims, and ask them about how the procedure ended up.
Like us on Facebook and join in on the conversation.
Welcome back to The Younger You, everyone. We're back in the studio, of course, with Carrie and board-certified plastic surgeon, Dr. Jared Nims, and we're going to see how Carrie's fat transfer turned out. But before we do that, it's my favourite time of the show, everyone. Let's have a look at the before and after shots. What do you see when you begin with, and then how do you feel now, Carrie?
Well, I'm amazed at how much different I look.
How do you feel about your silhouette now?
Well, everyone keeps looking at me and says, what have you done? Have you lost weight? And I haven't lost any weight.
Really?
I think it's just my body is more
See,
defined.
the silhouette. I know when people have injectables or, you know, they have their Botox done, people say, oh, you always look much more rested. Is this the same type of conversation that you get with fat transfer?
You can. People usually notice somebody's face first, right? And so they're looking and they see, oh, this patient or this person looks younger, rested, happier, more youthful. And then as things go by, they may turn attention to a patient's waistline. And,
they start scanning.
And they may see other things.
I got you. All right. we've already heard the technical side of all of this. You had liposuction. Explain how you felt after the procedure and after you had it transferred.
The week before, I almost chickened out because I was afraid it was going to hurt so bad.
Really?
But it was not painful at all.
Okay.
I came home, laid on the couch all day. Then, of course, I'm busybody. I had to get up and take 1,000 walks around the block. So other than just kind of moving slow, there really wasn't any pain. It was just kind of a numb feeling that lasted maybe 3 or 4 weeks, but not painful at all.
Okay, so with the liposuction, and then you had, did you have a little bit under your chin as well?
Yes.
Okay, and then you injected into the face. Was there a different feeling from the tummy area to the liposuction under the neck? What was the difference in the feeling of that?
I think they were both just kind of a numb feeling. You know how when your foot falls asleep and you go to touch it and it's still there, but that's kind of how it felt all around here and then just right here.
Okay, now, where did you inject onto the face?
We injected into her cheeks, into her chin.
Yep. Can you save fat and use for later on?
In research, they do some of that, but I traditionally do.
Would rather just reharvest.
Right.
So here's, people say, okay, everyone, you can eat what you want for Christmas and Thanksgiving, then we just go and have a bit more harvested. So what was the feeling of the tightness in the face? Because I know when you have injectables and you smile, people say, oh, you can feel it a little bit for about a week. Did you have the similar feeling?
I actually didn't really have any feeling in my face, just a little sore, you know, where it was injected. So for a couple days, I just had to be real careful when I washed my face, but it wasn't terribly painful.
Can Carrie, now she's had the fat transfer, can she go and have injectables, and would she need them?
She can have injectables, and she may need them here or there for touch-ups, or if she wants to go back for another procedure, she could, of course, have further fat grafting done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go back to the similar area, so under the, the flanks, or, maybe someone wants a little bit taken away from their thighs or something like that. So could we do that in, say, a year, or how soon after the initial procedure can you do that?
The main thing is I just want her healed and rested from her prior procedure.
Okay.
So in general, I would say 4 to 6 months, and then after that, you could probably repeat.
Got you. Well, how do you feel?
I feel good.
Yeah?
I feel like I look good. I like when I put my jeans on and I don't have any back fat. Is that what you call it?
I didn't think you had that very much anyway.
Well, now I just need to get some tight shirts.
And see, this is the thing. You are the perfect candidate, because I always say, I've been doing this show for a long time now, and people say, why do people have cosmetic surgery? Why do people have plastic surgery? And I always say it's no one's business unless it's your own. And if you want to have surgery, that's your choice. So even though you might not have a major need, but if you want to have it done, yeah.
Sure.
What do you say to people who say, well, she didn't need anything done?
I'm vocal, and if I'm going to do something, I share it with a lot of people. So, I mean, I've told 1 million people I've had liposuction, and people are texting me, tell me about it. How was it? Now, there's so many people that are very interested, and a couple people look at me, like I'm crazy.
So it's a definite service you'd recommend?
Oh, yes. And one of my old friends, I called him and told him, I said, I just want you to know that I'm having liposuction because I know what you're going to say when you hear it. And he just rolled his eyes.
Okay, well, we'd love to hear those results. Thank you both. We really appreciate that you took the time to do the procedure and one to also perform, but incredible results. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alrighty, everyone. With many possibilities in the world today for regaining a youthful appearance, everyone has something that works for them. Carrie showed us that the fat transfer can be a great natural looking way of adding volume and restoring the skin on your face. For more information about the show, please visit our website at theyounger.you.tv, and I'll see you next week.